want to share with you my story of having to tell my parents, you don't have to fight for me anymore. You don't have to be sick a day longer than you need to be sick. You've raised me, you've done your job, and now you can go. If you're new here, hi, I'm Vicky. We grew up in a world where we thought that we would have all the time in the world to spend with our parents. Yeah, we knew they were older than us, but we never ever imagined a life without them, without being able to pick up the phone and call them, or being able to go over for Sunday dinner, and heaven forbid, not being able to be there for Christmas. But as time goes on, we find out just how fast that clock was winding. And whether or not, like me, you start to lose parents at an early age, or you're like Michael, where you start to lose parents, when you're in your 50s, we realize that the one thing that we can give our parents when it gets towards the end is telling them they've done their job and it's okay to let go. My dad had really bad heart issues, and my mom, she, as a child, had polio and scarlet fever. So she's always raised us to be independent and take care of ourselves because we may never have her. Already in my mind, I'm prepared I'm going to lose my parents, but I didn't lose them that early. I lost my dad in my 20s, and at the time of losing my dad had slipped into a coma on Christmas Day, and we thought we pretty much had lost him that day. But he bounced back. Within like 48 hours, he came out of the coma, and he had a laundry list of stuff that he needed me to do. And he signed power of attorney, and I did everything that he wanted me to do. The second I told him everything was done, he went back into a coma. Came in and out a little bit, but he was holding on. He wouldn't let go because he wanted to see all of his kids again. And everybody made it except for one brother. And the one brother couldn't get there. And my dad was holding on and holding on and holding on. And my aunt told me, you got to go in there and tell him it's okay to go. So I went and I sat next to him and I held his hand and I told him, Dad, it's okay. He knows that you love him, and you know that he loves you, and you don't have to suffer anymore. You can let go. You can go home. And I felt like crap saying it because I didn't want to lose my dad. But in all honesty, that man laying there in a coma really wasn't my dad anymore. And I know my dad, that's not the way he would have wanted to be. So the very next day, my dad let go. I'm going to fast forward to my mom, who's been fighting the complications of polio and scarlet fever all of her life. And it caused problems with her heart and just so many problems. But you could never tell. She was such a fighter. She was so tenacious. But when she was in her just about to turn 70, things started to go a little bit south. And she was having a lot more problems. And the doctor told her, you need this heart valve surgery in order to get well, but you need to get well in order to have the heart valve surgery. So there's this catch-22, and they left the decision up to her. And being the youngest, I think, and also being kind of really close to my mom, because I wasn't one of those people who moved out at 18 because I ready to go out and spread my wings and get out there and fly. I was always a homebody. So, living at home with mom until my 20s, mid-20s, it wasn't a big deal. So I think that we had that chance to kind of grow from a mother-daughter relationship to also a friendship as I got into my 20s. And so we had a little bit of a different relationship, and she told me things that she didn't tell my siblings. And so the night before her surgery, we had a talk, and I laugh and I tell you all the story about how she told me, make sure they don't put me on life support because your sister will put me on the couch until she dies. And we had a long talk, and She told me she was tired. I don't even know exactly how many surgeries my mom had had on her heart, but I know she had hip replacement surgery. She had a couple of heart surgeries. She had surgeries on her foot. Just so many surgeries her entire life. And I said, Mom, you can go. You've raised us. You've done a good job of raising us. And now you got to trust that everything that you gave us is enough. You don't have to fight anymore if you don't want to fight. You can go. And it was one of the hardest things I had to say. I knew I had to say that to her at that moment. And then I had to turn around and do the same thing again when my brother just suddenly became ill, and holding his hand and telling him that it was okay to go, that he could go and be with mom and he could be with dad. And I remember Michael having to do the same thing with his dad. We, as adults, we're still kids inside. We don't want to lose our parents. But sometimes we got to put their needs before ours. We got to let them go. We got to let them fly. We got to let them release from the pain and the suffering that they're going through, because sometimes they show their love by enduring that pain because they think we need them. And we don't need them that much. We don't need them that much for them to suffer to be here with us. We need to let them go. So when you reach this stage and you see your parent or your grandparent or someone else that you love suffering and you know they're holding on just for you, give them that love back and tell them it's okay to go. If you made it this far with me, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.